Hello, it's Jang here with a look at a LEGO Marvel superhero set. This is Rhino and Sandman, supervillain team-up. Comes with 386 pieces. I think Spider-Man on the left looks really good. I think Iron Spider on the right really doesn't, especially with that head. With just one single color of print and just the large area of gold there, it just looks very plain to me. Very, very plain and boring. I guess the chest, the torso print is okay, but I just wish there was a little bit more outlining or something to give it some depth. The Spider-Man figure looks really good from pretty much every angle, and they have introduced the double colors there for the legs. So it looks like he's got his boots on in the red color. I think that works out really, really well for him. It's got really nice fine printing all around. Just a really good Legoification of a popular character. Now this is cool. On the back of Iron Spider, use two different, I guess, different applications of gold. They appear to be the same color there, but I guess they were sprayed from different angles or cooled differently, so depending upon how you look at it, you see a different design there. Like here, this looks completely plain, but you change the angle. That's a cool effect that I actually like. Too bad they didn't really do much more of that on the front. They did, but it just doesn't stand out well enough, I'd say. The Sandman figure, I think, looks really, really, really good. They've got a good transition there between the human aspect and the sand aspect, and they didn't give him too large of a hammer, a sand hammer in this case. You know, I think they could have easily put a much larger one in his hand, but this works better with the minifig scale. On the right, Rhino, just as himself, looks pretty tough, but I can't help but see the angry clone from Star Wars in that face. That face has been used so much, so many figures, and it's always the angry clone that I can't unsee that now, unfortunately. Both of these, I'd say, look pretty good from the back as well. And with Sandman, you do get an alternate face, just a more plain one. Now, historically, in the comics, Rhino had this suit that was practically bonded to him that gave him all his power. But of course, in the Amazing Spider-Man 2 movie, they reimagined that and kind of took some of the magic out of it, in my opinion, and made it a mech. So there you have Rhino the guy in Rhino the mech suit. And it's alright. I think that it's definitely missing some of the mechanical kind of look. I don't know off the top of my head exactly how they could have made it better, but it does look like they were kind of trying to go for an in-between between the live-action movie version and the comic version, because it's smooth. They definitely tried to bring all these smooth edges on there, and they also got the white bits and a little bit more of a realistic Rhino head rather than just making it all look metallic. So I don't know exactly what they were going for here. Folks who actually are better into the comic worlds, hopefully some of you can help me out, help me as a noob out, explain a little bit more where this is coming from, why this looks like a hybrid between the two imaginings of Rhino. But regardless, as far as play value is concerned, this is pretty respectable. You put the actual figure in there, you can bring the head down, and then there's plenty of articulation because there's ball joints everywhere. It doesn't have knees, but it doesn't really need them because of how short it is. You can get every kind of pose. Oh, and it's light enough that there's enough friction in all of the joints that you can pose it just about any kind of way. You don't have to be specific to certain ranges of poses. You don't have to have the feet always all the way down on the ground. You can kind of lunge forward and stuff and really get down into that low, you know, horn first kind of charge with it. So that's good. You see you've got the stud shooters at the ends. Kind of looks like he's going to be shooting out like fingernails there, or toenails or something, because they're white, but I guess that's supposed to be trying to represent the guns, the machine guns, or in the arms in the live action film. Much of this big scene that you build up in the set, though, really focuses more on the Sandman end of things, and Rhino is just kind of thrown in there. He's just pretty much being himself and doing his own thing, but Sandman is really integrated into all this terrain because of how he works and his powers. So here you see that he has risen up on a column of sand from the ground. So that's pretty much just a pedestal that's holding him up there. But you can use the super jumper function, especially with Spider-Man, to try to get up there and knock him off that pedestal. But he's also got sand that's growing out arms from the terrain beneath. And here you see it's captured iron spider right there. This is kind of cool little thing. It's got the fingers there. It can go up and can really reach up and grab you. But I wish that this would extend up. I wish that one of those things would extend up, you know, as an action feature, something that actually extend out. Instead, they just have the ability to knock this back. So again, if you're using the super jumper with one of your small figures and you hit it just right, then it would knock it back. Not a good thing for necessarily getting a fellow hero out of there, because it'll hit him as well. But you know, it's just a small little feature. And then there's another hand over here as well, built slightly differently, just very slightly differently. This one can be angled a little bit, you know, it's because it's got a little hinge there, but it's working similarly. However, this one just gets knocked off completely. It's on just a little jumper piece. Might need a little bit more, whoops, didn't mean to do that. Might need just a little bit more force to get this to be knocked off, because it does have a good amount of friction, good amount of clutch power there. So you really need to hit this hard. And the idea is that you knock it off like so. This feature at the front, I think, is supposed to work a little bit better with Rhino, because he would be charging up at you, and then you use your spinners to cast a web right there, and they've just got the ability to bring a web up, as long as Rhino isn't in the way, because you have to push this back. You could use your super jumper to hit that if you want to. It doesn't make as much sense unless he's kind of flying through the air and then spins the web just in front there. And that's supposed to stop him in place. And then once you've done that, then you can do things that use this crane, because this is nicely built up. Doesn't have a cab on it or anything, but it's a nice little assembly, and takes up a fair number of or a fair amount of the bulk of the set, I'd say. And this one has the demolition ball at the end of it, the wrecking ball, and you can let that down. Either you can get it to be lined up just over Rhino like this, and then you can let it down on his head to crush him, or you can let it down separately in a different place. Now you've got the ball just way out there, and it can swing across. Just make sure that your good guys are not in the way, and then you can try to cause that to swing across and hit. And yeah, you know, you kind of have to just get the, whoa, see, that's what I was trying to avoid. You gotta watch out for your good guys there when you're trying to take out the bad ones. It tends to swing out, so maybe it doesn't hit in this area quite so easily. It has just kind of a limited range of where it will hit, and it keeps wanting to hit Spider-Man. See, good idea, but doesn't really interact with this scene quite so well as I would like it to. This is actually part of an action feature right here. This is supposed to be something that you would hit. So again, using your super jumper, put your figure on there and hit this and knock it off. It's just a little spout of sand that's coming up. And there's another one over here that you can knock back, so you can cause destruction. There's another one over here that you can knock back and cause destruction before it turns into a fist. And they have a number of places where you can attach these all around the set, but they don't give you too many of the actual stickers. You just have a total of 2 with the sticker, and then one of these pieces that doesn't have the sticker on it. You just attach those at different places, and makes it easy to knock different stuff off to affect your environment. And just a second ago there, you saw me accidentally knock this sign back. Well, that's another action feature. Obviously, it's connected down to the base, and that's where you would unveil the diamonds that have been stolen away by the devilish villain pair there. So you're supposed to be able to collect those up. I think it's a bigger deal to deal with the villains themselves than to find that, but it's just another thing that you can hit. To recap, hand, hit it, knock it back. Hand, hit it really, really hard, or just tear it off. Okay, hit this sign and just kindly ask the guy to politely stand back so that you can actually bring the web up. Now he gets stuck there, and you can drop a big old thing on top of him. And then you can also knock a bunch of bricks off. And you can also knock this guy off and find the diamonds. There you go. And a number of times I mentioned the super jumper. Of course, there is the super jumper piece. I'm not going to demonstrate it because it does, no matter how careful you are, it does cause just a little bit of damage just to the base of the hole on the back of the minifigure. It's not super noticeable, but if you want to keep your minifigures in really good condition, you know, like new condition, and just, you know, not giving extra wear on them, I have to recommend against using these super jumpers unless you just have some extra spare legs that you don't really worry about, ones that you have plenty of. But something like this, where you've got the two different colors and it's new, I wouldn't risk it personally. I would not use the super jumper with this figure. I would use this though, a line of web silk. This works really great with the figure and allows you to hook up a whole lot of different things. You can use this to trip somebody connected at the other end. You can use it, of course, to swing. You can pull things. You can, you know, affect your environment with this. This is a good accessory to use with your Spider-Man figure for sure. All told, I feel like this set is just kind of mediocre to me. It has a lot of things that it tried to do. I feel like it didn't do very well. I appreciate having all the destructible elements, but they're a little bit frustrating. Frequently they will kind of be triggered when you don't want them to be, or when you try to trigger something, there will be some reason that you don't expect that it actually won't work. So I just feel like it didn't work out as well as it was intended to. To me, definitely the highlights of this set are the Superman figure and the Sandman figure. I don't feel like it's worth buying this entire set just to get those two. If you're not interested in anything else here, I do recommend waiting to find a good deal on each of those figures. Don't pay super high prices for them. You will probably see this same Spider-Man used again in the future, so I don't think it'll be too expensive. Sandman is probably going to be a little bit more difficult to get over time, but just get the figures by themselves if that's all that you want. But that's just my personal opinion. I've shown you what I think I can about this set, and it's your turn to share your thoughts by leaving a comment down below. Thank you for watching, and thank you in advance for your feedback. I'll be talking to you again very soon.